Hello. Okay, so I've made an application that users can use to input data, and it saves, and other users can access this data. So, for instance, it's a reminder system that has been proposed for a hospital. So, what the users can do is okay. What the staff can do is to impute the doctors that they have available, and the patients, which are going to be the users of this app, are going to go to the app, um, sign in, and when they sign in, they can get access to the doctor's availability table form. Then they can click on it, and then add a reminder that both them and the doctor will receive a notification for, obviously. And well, let me just go ahead and run this. Although I haven't implemented everything for this project yet, I plan to continue working on it and to get it up to the recommendations that I have in my documentation. So what I have here is I skipped the login phase. I just went straight to what the users would see when they are done with their signing. So you see a list of doctors. Actually, with this app, it's gonna have two different interfaces, right? The whole thing is going to be bundled in one, but depending on the user, the access is gonna be different. So for the hospital management, they can add the doctors that are available for whatever time period it is, while the patients, when they log in, they just see the doctors that the hospital management have available. So, um, yeah, that's pretty much it. There's more functionalities in my document because I plan to do a full project, and I just didn't have enough time. Although I so I'll just dive right straight to it. So what happens is I have a button that adds new doctors, and in the user's interface, they would have um, they have a profile that takes more of their data and stores it. But for the purpose of this documentation, this demo, I just have the doctor's, and this form will save the doctor's information to the database so that it can be accessible by the users. So I'm just going to go ahead and add one doctor right now. Let's see, being Thomas. Yeah, we'll save. Idea, bam, we'll see I've been Thomas. And I can go ahead and delete this by just swiping. So actually I've used a table view to display all this data on a view controller. I was initially going to use a table view to just a table view controller, but I needed to access this view controller from the login page, so I didn't want any you know authentication problems like logging into. So when the patient clicks on the doctor, um, actually this page is actually meant to be for the management too, but I just put this because this will be in the patient page so they can add a reminder by clicking yes, and it brings them to the set a schedule. And then when you set the schedule, you could, I've put some code to restrict um, picking any day um, in arrears. So it starts from today, and so you just put it, hit schedule. Then this shows you how many minutes your reminder is going to pop up. And when the app is done, clicking this button is also going to it's going to take you to a page. It's going to take you to a page that saves all your schedules, so you could go ahead and cancel some of them if you feel like, or reschedule, or just edit. Basically, the project is just all about using um, core data and NS object archive to store data to specific parts and then pulling them back up when you need them. And the login actually is going to be done with Firebase, which is an external database for iOS development. It's free. It should enable a level of authentication and encryption for the data. So yeah, I guess that's pretty much it for the interface demo. I could go back. I could actually delete this, edit it. Sorry, but this is gonna be a management function. This is not gonna be for the users to see. And by default, you actually cannot edit it until you click on this edit button. Then you see this. So if I decide to change this to um, Williams, that one. If I go back, say it's been changed to Bina Williams. Okay, and yeah, that's pretty much it for the demo of this program. I would go to the coding section just so I could explain a little bit on how this data is being saved, because I have no database here at the moment. I'm only using NS object and NS coding to decode and encode the data. So just come here and drop this down, go to the code, stop this. Okay. So first I'm going to start with a view controller, which is where um, from my storyboard controls the first view controller, which contains the table view. So back to the view controller. So it uses the view controller, inherits a couple of files, classes. The UI view controller, which is a parent, and then inherits the view delegate and the table view data source. This all helped me to save data to a specific file, the data source, and then the view delegate handles the table view, because I'm only inheriting this because I didn't use the table view controller. If I did, it would have been inbuilt. But since I'm not, I had to install it in order to import it. In order to have these functions, I'm just gonna come down here a little bit. Okay, like the number of sections. This is all for the table view. Returns one, which means it's just one section, and the number of rows in section is gotten from the amount of data that I have. Um, this private function data actually does the archiving, so this saves this data to this file path. All right. Okay. So, and this data is actually an object here. See that? This data is the variable of our data, and our data is what? NS key on archiver. So basically, what the load data function and the save data function is doing is that this one is loading it while this one is saving it. So this saves and this brings it back so you could see it. And well, the save data takes a parameter of doctor, which is from the doctor class, which is from this Dr. Swift file over here. And the Dr. Swift file has got the NS coding and NX object. What the NS coding and the NS object does is, well, the NS coding takes a parameter of coder and decoder, NS coder. What that means is it stores, it encodes and decodes our our data. So it takes our data, which is the doctor's name, and it encodes it to a file path and decodes it as well, so that we can have access and we can edit and we can work with it, all of that. So that's what it does here. It uses a key of one of the static key that we'll declare above here. And I'll come down to my edit class, which I use to oh, okay, I really didn't mention I also perform segue to transfer the doctor's name for edit. So this edited Swift file, its segue has been performed and transferred here from the view controller. I think is it here? Segue. Oh yeah, prepare segue. So I took the index, the data, and the path, and I just sent everything over. So over here, that file path and that index, everything has been gotten, and it's been, yeah, over here, over here. So yeah, I haven't completed much of this project, but I am pretty excited about starting it, and I'll keep going on the pace, and hopefully I'll be done and achieve something from this. Thank you so much.